life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. These famous words were said by Pablo Picasso. And I want you to think about it because so many people are living but not truly alive. They wake up, they handle responsibilities, they survive the week. They scroll through someone else's highlight reel at midnight, but deep down, beneath all that busyness, beneath all that they're doing, there's this quiet ache. The feeling of something is missing. Not because they're failing, but because they are living without any alignment with who they truly are. Welcome back. I am Olga Binyaminov and this is Limitless Live. Thank you so much for joining me. It makes me feel so good when I hear people with feedback that they're listening, taking it in, and they're happy that I keep doing this. So thank you for keep showing up. Thank you for taking the time and listening. And I appreciate all your great feedback, messages, emails, because this is really what it's for. I want you to take that deep, think about it, and start aligning yourself. This month we were talking about the inner world, the spiritual world, and I want to finish this live of today by something that hopefully you'll take in. This month we talked about waking up your inner world, and we even talked about letting go of what never out to be carried. And I hope that you actually did that. You let go something that you're not supposed to carry more. But today I want to bring it all together because we talked about purpose, we talked about faith, alignment, but part of that is your divine identity. Now, there's this quote that says, to listen is to lean in softly with the willingness to be changed by what we hear. So lean in, and I want you to just explore that option or opportunity and the power to change everything. So what does purpose really mean? Many people hear the word purpose and they immediately think career, success, business, money, achievements. But I want you to think about this definition differently. Purpose is really not a job title. It's not how you what you do in a daily life. It's not your work, it's not your job. Purpose is how you show up in the world. Purpose is the energy you bring into the room. It's the way that you love the people in front of you, and it's the value that you refuse to compromise. It's basically the quiet impact that you make that no one else sees, but everyone feels it. And that's what I want to focus on today, because you can be successful on the outside, but you can be completely empty on the inside, because achievement without alignment still feels like failure to your own soul. The soul would have no rainbows if the eyes had no tears. Your tears weren't wasted. Your heart seasons were not random. Everything that you walked through have been prepared for you. It was shaping you, and it was for the version of you that you are becoming right now. You are not a human being that's trying to find a purpose. You are a spiritual being. That purpose is already written into who you are. Your job is not to create it. Your job is to remember your purpose. I want to give an example of a woman I coached, and she shared that she feels completely hollow inside. She has a job, she has a family, she has the routine, but she felt like she was watching her own life from a distance, not really being in her life. And one ordinary morning, she sat on a porch and she watched the sunrise. She didn't say prayers or read a book. She was just watching. And in that silence, something actually cracked open. For the first time in many years, She felt small and infinite at the same time. And she told me, Olga, I think I forgot who I was. And my answer to this was, your soul never forgets. It's been waiting for you to simply come back to it. And I want you to think about this example because we don't talk much about your soul and alignment, right? The soul might be not aligned, and we need to identify this. There are signs that you can identify when your soul is not aligned, because sometimes it doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes it's just quiet, sneaky, and we just ignore it until we can't ignore anymore. Misalignment is something that you feel like constant exhaustion and sleep doesn't fix. Anxiety that life is just basically guessing. It's saying yes when everything in you is screaming no. It's resentment that you keep building towards people, towards life, or even towards self. And it's that nagging feeling when you're living someone else's version of your story. You can have everything that you thought you wanted and still be unhappy. And why is that? Why do some people have everything and they are still miserable? Because their soul knows that when something isn't right, it's a feeling. The soul is starving for connection and it aches in silence. That ache, that restlessness, it's not a sign of something wrong with you. It's a sign that's saying, I'm here, come back to me, find my purpose. And there are two ways that you can live life, and we talked about that before. It could be reactively or it could be intentionally. When you live a reactive life, you're just surviving. You're rushing through things. You're allowing circumstances to control everything you do, to control every mood you have. You're basically letting life happen to you. But when you live life with intention, you consciously choose things. You decide who you are and how you want to show up, even when nobody's watching you. And that is letting your life happen through you. Spirituality, people that are spiritually aligned, they don't live perfectly, but they live consciously. They stop and ask, does this align with my values? Does this bring me peace? And is this truly what I want? And the more aligned you become intentionally, the more peaceful your life becomes externally. Because where in your life right now you feel most out of alignment? And I want you to feel free to share this, because awareness is where transformation begins. Now, one of the hardest things that we can identify is the fear and how to overcome that fear. So, we talked about the difference between fear and faith. Fear is when you afraid of something that may never happen. It's those silent questions you're asking yourself. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if the things never change? And it's basically things that may alter your path. But faith says, even if I can't see the full path, I trust that this is my path. Faith does not mean having all the answers. Faith does not mean having zero fear. Faith also doesn't mean that the road is clear. It just means that you do it anyways. Because there's a voice that doesn't use words, and that's your inner voice. That's the voice that's always with you. And we just get so loud, so busy, so overwhelmed that we draw, dim it down, and we don't hear it. And when you start living life from that faith, from that ground, from the soul level place, you shift. You start living with this divine identity. And what does this living means? It means that you start trusting your intuition, even when logic says otherwise. You start responding to life with compassion instead of reaction. You move through uncertainty with grace instead of panic. It also means you set boundaries, not from anger, but from self respect. And you believe deep in your bones that your life has a meaning. Because you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in one drop. So, as we're going through this, I want you to journal and journal what exactly meant for you. What is it, that subconscious feeling that you have? Because I want you to really identify your purpose, and that is where I'm going to bring you to. I also want you to write down, I am someone who what? I am someone who, and fill it in with your values, your truth, your non negotiables. I am someone who values peace. I am someone who chooses growth. I'm also someone who protects her energy. And I am someone who leads with love. Who are you? Write it down. I am someone who. And when you're done with that, I want you to write down, I choose to live. And write how you choose to live your life. I choose to live intentionally, courageously, with faith instead of fear, and in alignment with who I truly am. Because this becomes your aligned statement. It becomes your declaration. It becomes your reminder and a compass for when life tries to pull you off course. And I want you to keep reading it to yourself all the time. And then write one more thing. I want you to write down a short letter to your higher self. Ask your higher self, what do you want me to know right now? Where have I been trying to do something and you're guiding me? What am I finally ready to release? And then write it back to yourself. Write it as your higher self, because you may be surprised by the wisdom that you actually have inside of you. And I know for some of you, you may not understand this. And I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. If you don't understand that, or that doesn't align with you, come back to it later. You can also declare things for yourself and mean every single word as you do that. I am not here by accident. Repeat after me, because none of you are. If you're watching this, you're aligned to watch this. Tell yourself, I'm not behind schedule. I am not too broken, not too late, not too lost, not too anything that you're telling yourself. I am a spiritual being with a powerful purpose. I choose to live in alignment with my true self. I live with faith, not fear. I trust the voice within me. I am guided, I am health, and I am never alone. I am, and I have always been, limitless. Replay this, repeat this, and keep telling that to yourself, because I want you to challenge yourself this week. And this week, every single day this week, do one thing that brings you back to alignment. It could be anything that makes you feel fulfilled. It could be 5 minutes of stillness before you touch your phone in the morning when you wake up. It could be 3 things you're grateful for every single day. Write it down, not just in your thoughts. It could be one act of service from a place of genuine love. And it could just be reading one passage a day. Start small, but do it. Maybe it's something that you need to pray for with an intention. A conversation with the highest version of yourself, a conversation with a higher entity that you believe in, maybe God, energy, whatever that might be. Do small things with great love, because spiritual growth is not built in big moments. It is built in quiet, consistent, intentional moments. Now, next month, we're going into June, and in June, I talk about love and relationship. Love and relationship are not just romantic relationship that I'm implying, it's actually everything. So, the one thing you need to know, once you know who you are, once you are rooted in your divine identity, you can finally love other people from a place of whole. Not from needing, not from fear, but from actual fulfillment. So stay tuned, because June is going to be powerful. And if you haven't joined my Exceed Learning Center book club yet, doors are open for teens and adults. Message me, because you'll get your first month free. This is a community that will change your life. And before I close and let you go today, I want you to hear this. I need you to hear this, but really hear this. You showed up this month through whatever busyness you're going through the exhaustion, through the moments that you're almost didn't tune in, but you did it. You choose growth, you choose yourself. And I am honored to walk you through this journey. But I want you to also remember, the deeper we look, the more we find that we're not alone. You are always guided, you are always supported, you are always loved by someone far greater than your circumstances. And I hope through this month you woke up, you aligned, you surrendered, and now you remembered who you always been. Now go live this life. Once you understand and remember the purpose, walk into June knowing you are powerful. You are purposeful. You are divinely connected. And your soul already knows it. So thank you for being here with me today. I love this community so much. And thank you so much for tuning in, listening, and always sharing your thoughts with me. Until next Monday, stay limitless.